Hi again, and welcome to episode 39 of this podcast.
Hi.
And you know what this podcast is?
I think it's the Father and Sundays podcast, isn't it?
Father and Sundays. And this week we are talking about the apocalypse.
The apocalypse?
I know. Stick around if you want to hear more. Haha!
What?
Well, that intro was a bit different, wasn't it?
It was. We should mix it up every now and again.
We should mix it up just to mess with people like Sam. And one thing I didn't mention, it's the unexplainable guide to absolutely nothing.
It certainly is the unexplainable guide to absolutely nothing, which is not easy for me to say.
And we confused ourselves by doing a different intro, and then we forgot bits. And that was about the fourth or fifth time we recorded that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this week. Yeah. What are we talking about?
Oh, that went a bit high. We're talking about not the apocalypse. We're talking about apocalypse, as in apocalypses.
Oh, right, apocalypses. Is that
apocalypse?
Apocalypse. Is that the Yep.
Well, it's because we're not just talking about there hasn't apocalypse in quotation. There hasn't been an apocalypse.
Well, it depends what you.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying. Yeah. But we're talking about apocalypses, multiple of them, because we're not just talking about one type of apocalypse.
It's a very, if you hear that word, it's not the sort of thing you want to sit and listen to a podcast about. No. Possibly. But we're not really going to go from the angle of it being...
Should we make a podcast about apocalypses and call them apocalypse?
Oh, please. I think you should leave. Yeah. Right. I think that should be the last thing you say. I'll get outside.
Is it just be the father podcast?
Father podcast from now on.
Father days.
You wait for next week's intro.
Father days.
Anyway, look. So apocalypse, right? We came up with this idea. We wasn't sure about it and all that. And we thought, well, we'll come from a different sort of angle with it. We're not going to get depressing, hopefully. We're not going to get sort of morose about it.
I was more into this idea than you.
Yeah, you were. But I didn't want to make it just be your fault. But, so first of all, look at the definition. What's the definition of an apocalypse? And in the dictionary, that's the word I was looking for.
Did you actually look in the dictionary or did you check Google?
Google.
Right.
Well, but it does look at...
You know we have a dictionary.
Yeah, definition, yeah. But it's holding up a table at the moment, isn't it? So, the complete final destruction of the world as described in the biblical book of Revelations. And we'll come back to that as well.
So it's quite religious.
The bells ringing is supposed to usher in the apocalypse, right? So it's called for in the Bible. And I guess, and again, we'll come back to it, I guess it's a cleansing sort of thing. So, and again, it said an event involving destruction or damage on a catastrophic scale, as in the apocalypse of WW2, World War II. So, obviously, very serious subject that. And
it's almost a little bit like a mass extinction.
It is, but it's a seismic event, I guess.
Yeah.
We're not talking particularly being something that's... I guess there are natural things that happen that cause these seismic events, and there's also man-made things that cause these seismic events. So I suppose we'll run through some of those and have a little chat about that. But from the point of view of the Bible, obviously it's quite a big thing within the Bible, and I think the New Testament... You've got the four riders of the apocalypse.
Judgment Day and stuff like that.
It is. That's, Terminator Judgment Day, which I believe is one of the chapters within the Bible.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
So in the New Testament, it's the four riders of the apocalypse. Yeah, I know, that's terrible, isn't it? I
was just thinking that was pretty good. I was just thinking...
Oh, right, okay. He's Conquest War, Bingo and Snorky. I've got that mixed up. That's a banana splits, isn't it? It's Bingo, Fleagle, Drooper, and Snorky. No, it's Conquest, War, Famine, and Death.
Do you know what you did there? You made a joke that I did not understand at all. Because it's very aged.
Yes, it is very aged, yes. Great show that was, Banana Splits.
I'm sure there'll be some people that appreciate your joke there.
There probably will be.
But I had never clue.
In the Old Testament, it's sword, famine, wild beasts, and pestilence or disease. Which I like to go the extra mile, and I've actually brought pestilence to the podcast this week.
Don't you make my lunch with pesto every day?
But I don't normally mention how I'm feeling on these podcasts, but I haven't been very well. So
you never mention that.
I'll try and struggle through, but it has been quite rough. But yeah, so I mean, it's quite dramatic. It's quite a thing, and there's loads of depictions of the four riders of the apocalypse, and there's loads of adaptations of that as well. I mean, even to comedy and such. You know, it's something that's been around.
Do you remember? Do you know one of my favourite films?
Home Alone 1, which was called Home Alone.
I don't think I've ever said that's one of my favourite films. But
Weekend at
I'm saying
Bernie's.
one of my favourite films.
Okay.
A film that I really enjoy.
Okay. Go on then.
I've actually... Oh, it's called... You call it. Now that's what I call magic.
Now that's what I call magic. Now that's what I call Magic 2. Do you know they're making a third one as well?
Yeah, do you know what it's going to be called?
Now that's what I call Magic 3,
No,
I
it's
believe.
going to be called Now You See Me 3 because they're all called Now You See Me.
Right. What's that got to do with this?
Well, they're the four horsemen of the apocalypse. That's
Are
what
they?
they go refer themselves as.
Okay. And what four are they? Card tricks,
Nigel,
smoke, doves, and
one of them can
top hat.
one of them's like a psychic. One of them does like close-up magic.
Yeah.
Another one is or like a pickpocket sleight of hand.
Okay.
And another one
So they're not really like the Four Riders of the Apocalypse, then, are they?
I can't think of what the woman's special skill was.
Well,
one of them was like a front man.
Yeah.
So she was probably like the
Front woman.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Love
so
interest.
yeah, thanks for that input.
That's right.
But it strikes me, and when you start, and you've said about that, but I mean, there are plenty of films and plenty of books and TV dramas around these sort of subject matter. And for something that really is quite a depressing subject, we're absolutely obsessed with it.
I've said it before.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again. It's no, I've forgotten the word for it now. You know when you get
When you said it before, did you remember the word that time?
I did remember the word. It's a morbid interest. That's it.
Morbid interest, yeah. No,
Yeah,
there
it's
is.
a morbid interest.
It seems to be, because when I started thinking about the films, and even the films that I personally really like, they're all this
Like
sort
Cats.
of... Yeah, like Cats, yeah. And that's in a world where cats have mutated into like really bad singers, isn't it? But no, I mean, for instance, and I wrote a few down, you got things like... So you go on the sci-fi sort of side of it. So you've got things like iRobot.
Yep.
So iRobot, where the robots are taking
Technology.
over. Yeah. So you've got things like I Am Legend, which is all about... I believe it's a virus, isn't it? That and then you get these mutated beings.
Most of the zombie films,
it is a bit like that,
Zombieland, for example, as well. It's normally a virus or something that then takes on, and then they become zombies because it was making of a reason of why there'd be zombies. I can imagine zombies appear in quite a lot of things, but coming up with why the zombies have appeared is quite difficult, like Walking Dead and stuff like that.
Yeah,
a lot of the time it's a virus because we haven't seen them before.
Yeah,
you know?
No, exactly. So I mean, I understand. I've talked about two Will Smith films there already.
Oh, I've got one, Independence Day.
Independence Day, and he's in that as well.
Yeah.
And what's the one where he plays a fish?
Shark Tale.
Shark Tale, and Shark Tale as well, and Aladdin.
Yeah.
No, so you got those sort of ones, and you got, I mean,
Men in Black.
Huh?
I'm just naming
they just don't keep. Well, in a way, Men in Black, because of an alien invasion that's gonna.
Yeah.
Or kind
true.
of in that particular
The Cockroach is one.
But you've got like Children of Men, which is a Clive Owen film, and that's about. I mean, again, a subject matter. There's been sort of 18 years of infertility, and then suddenly there's a woman who's pregnant and carrying a baby.
What?
Because it looks like the human race is going to end because no one is having any more babies and that. But it's quite dark and it's quite scary. You got The Hunger Games, which is a really popular series of films.
Would you consider that an apocalyptic?
Well, I would, because it starts the whole process of The Hunger Games starts.
It's essentially a bit of a post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, and that's what this dystopian nightmare sort of. And that's
Mad
what
Max.
most of Mad Max and the Terminator films go forward to a time when the robots taking over and completely wiped out most of the people. And there's loads of these sorts of films.
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo, yeah. But like, for instance, as well with literature, I mean, something like H.G. Wells, and again we go to the sort of science fiction side of it, because obviously a lot of these views of the future, it is science fiction because we aren't there. But you know, that in itself, he gets into a time machine and he goes forward, and I think one of the visions he sees is a nuclear explosion or an atomic bomb.
Yeah.
And then you get to the point where is it the Eli and the Morlocks, and you've got an underground race and an overground, and it always seems that they are now quite primitive.
And just a quick thing, if you want to hear more on the time machine or even sci-fi, we've got an episode on science fiction and also an episode of time travel.
We certainly have. But it I guess what it goes
I can't
towards,
say we go into either of those things that well, but we do have an episode.
We don't do anything particularly well. But there's this thing about starting over, isn't there? There's this thing about
sorry, just thought of another one. The Lego Movie 2. They live in Apocalypseburg.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
And is that supposed to be after some
It's meant to be like everything's been crashing, like Duplo has taken over the city, and
so they've took a slightly different angle to it, but it's a similar sort of process that they've gone through.
And everyone's a bit like Mad Max style, whereas
but it is
what's his name? Eric Irwin. Oh, what's this guy's name who does Chris Pratt play in Lego
I haven't
Movie?
watched them, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But there's messages going through these. There's the messages that all that happens and we have to go back to absolute basics. So quite often it's depicted that we've become quite primitive again, and you know we're having to use more of the Earth's resources. We haven't got the technology anymore, which is a bit of a strange sort of thing anyway.
Sorry to interrupt, Emmett.
Right.
Yep.
It didn't really matter, but there you go.
It was irritating.
And also the message that if we don't change what we're doing now, I mean, even things like the day after tomorrow, Monday, the day after tomorrow and all these sort of disaster movies, that's what all that's about. If we don't change what we're doing, if we don't start to take responsibility and very quickly for our actions.
A lot of them is trying to teach us certain things.
Yeah, I guess to a certain degree. I mean, we come back to the fact that we all love all this. I mean, we eat it up. Even the sort of superhero films. We did a superhero one as well. Even the superhero films are around that sort of thing. There's this mass destruction.
We mentioned now it's what I call Magic Girl. We did a Magic episode as well.
We did. Don't worry about that one.
All right.
But I mean, it also sort of tries to galvanise people as well, because you've got, if there's a third party involved, it seems to be like if there's like a disease outbreak, or if there's robots or aliens or whatever, it's like us against them.
Yeah.
And it means that we've all got it. Doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter where you're from in the world. It comes down to the fact we've got to save the world, and we've all got to come together.
Wouldn't it be strange if
America wins it for us?
Wouldn't it be strange if like a virus took over and stuff like that?
Oh God, yeah, wouldn't it?
It would be really weird.
Yeah, not many, Benny.
I mean, that's an apocalypse in itself, isn't it?
It is an apocalypse in itself.
Yeah. So that mean we live in a post-apocalyptic society?
Well, I'd like to hope.
Or during an apocalypse?
We are living. Well, it's not apocalyptic.
Is the Ice Age an apocalypse?
I guess so, because it was something that was so significant it completely drew a line.
Yeah. And the wipe out of the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Well, we asteroids hitting the Earth and things like that, and I'll go on to that a bit later on, just to cheer everybody up.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, because I've got something that I've compiled. But it's it is. I mean, it is a depressing subject, but it's a subject that we are obsessed with. We do seem to love. We are living in this time at the moment with a pandemic, and we're constantly being told. I think life has changed now. The way we look at things has changed. It has changed it's changed the majority of people. Some people will never change, but we don't live our lives the same as we used to. And I don't think we ever will live our lives the same as we used to. And things have happened in the last couple of years I mean, I'm
What's
53.
scary is you saying last couple of years as well.
Yeah, in my lifetime, I've never seen anything like it. In my mother's lifetime, in 91 years, she's never seen anything like it. And
she lived through a war.
So, you know, it's unprecedented times at the moment. It does sort of lend itself to that. I was interested to see when this was all happening that some people were saying, oh, hang on, back at this literature. Look, it actually said, it's pretty much what it said here. It said this was going to happen, this was going to happen, and this was fiction. But, you know, people base the stuff they write. You might fantasize it slightly, but they base it on what could happen.
And this literature they're looking over was at The Simpsons.
Well, Simpsons are very good at this, aren't they?
They are very good at it.
In fact, probably they just need to look through all Simpsons episodes and just base all policies on the back of that.
I agree.
Two-minute debate.
Right, now onto a brand new section which I've prepared, minus the sting, because that was obviously you. So, we're going to be doing a 2-minute debate where we debate things that, basically a statement I'm going to say in a second. I'm going to say whether I'm for or against, or you're for or against, and then we're going to argue it. We've got exactly 2 minutes. After that 2 minutes, no more discussing it at all. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, okay.
So our 2-minute debate is, you believe, and you're for, that there should be equal rights for Tamagotchis and Furbies to that of cats and dogs. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Okay, well, in my opinion, if you're going to teach people how to look after pets, and if you're going to try and get kids to engage with pets, things like Tamagotchis and Furbies are a good option at the beginning because they can't be killed, or they can be killed, but it's not going to be an actual living thing harmed.
Right, yeah,
right.
So that's a good argument for why people should look after Tamagotchis and Furbies.
Yeah.
However, I worry that if we start to say about Tamagotchis and Furbies, if we say, right, they can have equal rights to that of cats and dogs, that's one step closer to us saying that robots have equal rights to humans and then they take over the world.
Well, no, I don't believe that's an issue whatsoever because, I mean, you're talking about fairly basic technology there, and the Furby's only got a series of answers that it can give you, and a Tamagotchi has only got a series of things it can come back at you with. I think you're not realising the actual importance of a child understanding before it gets something that's living and breathing, that's got blood pumping around its body, it needs to deal with something that hasn't got that he can make or she can make mistakes with. If it's a robot, that's going on to a different level altogether. And also, I don't see what the relevance of what you've just said anyway.
But you're saying about equal rights, so we're saying that Tamagotchis and Furbies should have equal rights to that of cats and dogs.
Yeah.
So if you go on to neglect a Tamagotchi, that then puts you at risk of getting in trouble with the RSPCA.
But if you neglect a Tamagotchi and if you neglect a Furby, then perhaps you shouldn't have an animal, and perhaps that's the first hurdle to finding out whether you're responsible enough to have an animal or not. And if you're licensing that sort of thing, then that means that people can be cut out of the equation and not allowed to be cruel to animals or do anything wrong.
So if Tamagotchi costs £30, yeah, and then all of a sudden they cause problems with that Tamagotchi, and then they're having a fine for way more than that.
Yep, that's fine. So as I said, as far as these particular apocalyptic events are concerned, I had a little look and I kind of put them in an order of what I feel are the most popular apocalyptic events, or what is deemed the sort of most...
Would you say apocalyptic?
Apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic.
So I've put them together in this this breakdown, and if you want to press play there, we'll go through them.
Oh, you've prepared something?
Yeah, of course I have.
All right, I'll hit play then.
At number 10, surprise it's not higher, it's a pandemic. Straight in at number 9, where's Bruce Willis when you need him? It's an asteroid. Down 2 to number 8, it's not any old volcano, it's a super volcano. At 7, better phone home, it's an alien invasion. And
new entry at number 6, It's a Plague of Zombies. Up 3 places at number 5, Factor 30 anyone? Beware the solar flare. At 4, Who's in Control? It's Cybergeddon. Holding firm at number 3, the film was appalling, it's an AI takeover. And at number 2, Mutants Ahoy! It's a Bioterror Attack. And for the 156th consecutive week topping the charts, budge up because there's not much room, it's the one and only Nuclear War.
Wow, that was amazing.
Well, that was my pick of the epochs.
Top of the pot. Epochs.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Top of the epochs.
Pick of the epochs.
Pick of the epochs. So,
all right.
Okay, so what did we have there? Right, we've talked a little bit about the pandemic. Maybe this is a bit too close to home at the moment to get too involved in, but that was at number 10. Living through it. Living in a minute. It's obviously affecting my speech already, but
I'd rate it pretty low.
Pretty low?
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't recommend.
I wouldn't recommend
pandemic.
it, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
Generations
it certainly has been the worst thing in the world for an awful lot of people, so I'm not belittling it one bit. But on the scale of some of the other things that we're going to talk about, I guess it's it is affected. There's a lot of people that have survived it, so. Okay, so on that cheery note...
Yeah, but that's just one pandemic.
Yeah, that is one pandemic. We're talking about the pandemic we've just been going through or are going through. What about number 9, an asteroid?
Just to timestamp this episode, it's the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, yes, yeah, just in case.
Because we never know, there could be another pandemic in a few years.
Yeah, oh, don't say that. What about an asteroid then?
What about it?
Well, have you seen... the film with Bruce Willis? I can't think what it's called. It's called Apocalypse. No, it's not. What's it called? Oh, I can't think what it's called. And that's going to really annoy me now. I'll come back to it.
Armageddon?
Armageddon, that's the one. Armageddon.
No, I haven't seen it.
No. Well, basically, often there's, we know, meteors and asteroids have hurtled towards Earth. And obviously, we talked about the dinosaurs being wiped out, didn't we?
I saw a picture the other day of it was actually someone saying, when you're asleep in your bed and a meteorite falls straight through your ceiling and onto the pillow next to you, and there was a picture of obviously their bed and a meteorite on their pillow.
Wow. Got to feel that you're blessed when it misses you only by that amount as well.
And a hole in their ceiling.
A hole in their ceiling, cool. I know what that's like. So, asteroid though. So
the hole in the ceiling or the meteorite?
The hole in the ceiling. Right, asteroids, the thing is with them is they talk about, every now and again they come out with this one, this one's going to come close. And when you hear how close it's coming, it's still unfathomable amount of distance from us. But anything can happen. We talked about this in the solar system one. If something was to happen to one of the planets or something out of our control, what would we do? Well, apparently we've got a whole section of NASA that looks at this that have got in mind, all right, they're not going to send up a load
like you said, America's going to save us all.
Yeah, drilling on an asteroid to put explosives in it to break it up to make sure and have to, because it doesn't work properly, have to stay on there. So NASA have got actually units looking at that and have got plans in action that if something was to happen like that, they would try and take it out before even...
Well, America's putting together a space military, aren't they?
Well, they are.
Space
and I think
force.
these are the sort of things they're looking at.
Well,
so there you go, right?
Yourself.
So maybe we could be saved from that sort of thing. What about a number 8, super volcano? Now, I didn't really know much about... Huh?
Not just any volcano.
Not just any volcano. It's a super volcano. Apparently, we've got 20 of them across the Earth. And if they went off, if they actually went, that would be... I mean, obviously volcanoes erupt all the time. But this would be incredible. This would be, we're talking about ash blocking out sun rays to an extent that, do
you remember when the volcano erupted? Like, I'm talking about many, many years ago, but when ash
Iceland.
Was it Iceland? And then like all flights stopped because there was ash.
Well, it was all but we're talking about with a super volcano.
And the fact it was hitting like here, for example, like ash hitting here and causing impacts here in Europe and stuff like that. Like across the globe, basically, this was having an impact.
Yeah.
It just shows you how small the world is, and how much just one thing can have an impact on everything else. And yes, how a volcano like that could have an impact.
Yeah. No, apparently these as I say, there are many of them. They do monitor them. Again, you've got scientists making sure that nothing untoward is looking like it's going to happen. But, again, we live on a planet which is volatile, and, we go about our daily, days, and and we're unbeknown to us is all this stuff that's going on beneath us.
I still prefer it to Uranus, though.
Well, you haven't seen my anus. Right, so number 7.
My anus, your anus, everybody's anus.
Number 7, Alien Invasion. Obviously, this is the one that's probably most depicted in films and that.
Mars Attacks
and things like that. Now, obviously, most of the time...
That was a documentary, wasn't it?
Yeah. Most of the time when these films, they don't come in peace. And we've talked about this before. I think we talked about computer games with it, and there's not much point in having a computer game where they come in peace. But they always seem to be, or always start to look like they're going to be okay, and then it all kicks off. But again...
Yeah, E.T.
I didn't realise that...
Have you seen the sequel?
What? E.T. goes nuts.
Yeah.
E.T. comes back home again. No, and it's... they're always depicted. So the likelihood of that happening, well... Who knows? The fact is that as far as we know, there's no life in our solar system. We haven't come across any life that would be flying at us.
Intelligent life, yeah.
So but whether it comes from elsewhere, or that we may be all right with that one. So I'm not so bothered about that, and that's why probably that's at number 7. I can't quite work out why number 6.
Sorry, did you rate these?
I did. What I did is I looked at a load of stuff and a load of what do we call them when you go out data, but when you go out and canvas and you start saying it was within surveys and saying what people are most. I know I looked at a few surveys and then I calculated from them.
So you did secondary research on surveys.
Yeah, well, secondary's good for me, so I wouldn't worry about that. Anyway, look, zombies, number 6, zombies. Now I can't stand all that, I can't. It's so popular. I mean, there's a series like The Walking Dead, and they're so popular, and people are so obsessed with zombies and all that sort of thing. What I didn't realise... It's an
interesting concept, though, isn't it?
It's an interesting concept.
If you think about it, zombies aren't fake. They've come from somewhere. There's insects that have like things like parasites hit them, and then the parasites will control the insect in a zombie-like way. So it's not completely beyond the realms of possibility. It's just not been done to the scale of a human. But that's something that...
Well, they talk about, obviously, that it's a debate whether that's actually true of voodoo and stuff like that. So in certain cultures, voodoo, well, that's zombies, because that's taking the dead and controlling the dead. That's all what that's supposed to be all about as well. What that's supposed to be all about, I don't even know how to talk. The US, in the Pentagon, they've actually put together a plan in case there's a zombie. Now, I don't know whether
they do have to prepare for everything.
Whether this was during Trump's time, but apparently there has been work done on just in case. Yeah,
oh, sorry.
Plenty of work done on him. In case there is a zombie apocalypse. They do quite literally
prepare for absolutely any possibility, such as
this is bizarre.
Aliens,
I mean,
zombies.
We're talking about stuff that's, potentially science fiction. I know that all science fiction has its roots in reality, but... there's stuff there that you think, well, what?
I will say that everything you've said so far is not beyond the realms of possibility. That's not to say it's not going to happen. But, like zombie apocalypse, it's very unlikely to happen, but it's not impossible. I wouldn't say it's impossible. It's improbable, but not impossible.
Well, number 5, and this is one I didn't know a lot about, a solar flare, right? Now,
that's more likely.
Apparently, we're overdue for one.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means really, in respect of how long it's been since the last one. But that
could be thousands of years. To be fair,
the effect that it has, and I didn't realise this would be the case, but it would disrupt power. it would affect as far as tech is concerned,
Yeah.
but food is concerned, everything that we need to live our lives would be affected by that. And yet it's something that I don't even, it wouldn't even come into my mind without looking into it like I have done with this.
And have you looked into it?
Well, I did.
What happens in the solar flare?
Well, like I just said, are you not paying attention to me?
Listen.
I said it would affect
what
all
causes
that
a solar
power.
flare?
A pulse within the sun that sort of pulses out, and there's always flares coming out of the sun, right? But it's a big one, and it reaches across, goes woo,
Tickles
on
us.
It tickles the earth underneath, like you like to be tickled, and then causes all sorts of
Then
problems.
I like to be tickled underneath.
Underneath, yeah.
Right.
Not saying
I think
underneath
that's pretty
what?
accurate, actually. Let's move on.
Yeah. Number 4, Cybergeddon. Now, I got a little bit confused because I thought, Cybergeddon's going to be to do with, robots. Well, it kind of is, but it's more to do with the fact that people controlling so one of the examples they give is other countries controlling your weapons. So basically, being able to hack into your weapon system and use your weapons against you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is frightening. And that is something that I must admit, when you start looking at it, it's quite feasible that could be done.
Yeah.
And quite feasible that could be done at any time. Because, it's only as good as the person who can, set up that system. And all systems are able to be broken into at some stage.
To have a really high-tech system, you need to have someone who can break into it to be able to then say how they can fix it. So you've basically got to have someone who can break into it.
Yeah, but then there's plenty of people out there doing that. And they talk about countries interfering with other countries' politics, but it's not far from that sort of area anyway. So that did alarm me somewhat. Number 3, AI takeover. So slightly different. This is about the intelligence or computers becoming intelligent.
Like Tamagotchis and
Furbies, right? So them taking over the world. So that is, again, we're talking Terminator there, we're talking about Judgment Day, we're talking about machines, that sort of thing. So robots becoming
although wasn't iRobot down to one particular person?
Well, they produced the robot, and then the robot become self-aware and such. So that became the problem there. And the solution there as well, because one of them was robot. There was a good one, and there was the ones that were being sort of controlled centrally by another
hive mind.
Yeah, well, nice one. I like that. So terrible film as well. So if it's anything like that, that's my worst nightmare. Yeah,
I really like.
Not iRobot, AI.
Oh, AI. All right.
Yeah. Right, number 2. So we're whistling through these a bit. Bioterror Attack. Now, again, this is not a very nice one to talk about. Obviously, has been used in wars anyway, as far as sort of chemical warfare and such. But obviously, with what we've been going through recently,
it's similar to the cyber one in the fact that it's likely done by another, say, country or state or something like that.
But I mean,
bio stuff.
I mean, at the beginning of this pandemic, everybody had
a virus.
Not everybody had it in mind. People that had very little intelligence, but were being led by other, what they read and things. And China's at it again. China's produced this. This is to wipe us all out and all the rest of it. But that the potential is there to do something like that. Quite obviously,
it's not likely to have been China.
No,
that's not to say it wasn't.
But it can show.
I can't say
it can show
wasn't.
that how easily that could be done.
Yeah.
And the last one, number 1, nuclear war. Now, this is one and probably it sits at number 1 for me as well, because I lived through the 80s. And at the time when I used to watch every news bulletin, hearing and thinking, what's the top news? I hope it's not the Soviet Union and the US, head to head again. And it was something that if you got down to the second or third, you knew it wasn't as serious as. And there was we had films, We had pamphlets to tell you what to do during if there was a nuclear war, and it was really, really frightening time for someone of my age in that time. And my mum used to sit there and say to me, "Look, this has been like this for years." She talked about the Cuban Missile Crisis, JFK. She said it's always been there. And I guess when you're younger, it can really you can't sort of make any sense out of any of it.
See, nuclear activity, it could be the thing that both saves the planet and also destroys it.
Well, this is why it's such a sort of
it's a pivotal thing.
Yes.
If we can harness fusion, it's
an incredible thing.
Power sorted.
In one side of it, but on the other side of it, obviously it could completely.
We've already done
us all.
fission though, and that's what's causing the problems.
There you go. Did you enjoy that?
I did enjoy it.
Okay,
it was
a bit serious at times, wasn't it? But just running through those ones.
Well, we have to be aware.
Okay.
Now you've got a song for us then, haven't you?
I have written a song, and again, please don't think it's going to be too depressing, but it's about the apocalypse.
Oh, exciting.
It is about the apocalypse, something I put together, so hopefully you'll enjoy.
All right.
It's looking slightly dodgy. I think we're near the end. There's a feeling of impending doom just around the bend. I've cancelled all the milk subscriptions and my paper. I fed the pets and rung me mum to say won't see you later. Read my lips, apocalypse. I think I saw it coming.
He thinks he saw it coming.
We made such a mess, now we pay the debt, 'cause that's the way it goes.
He's grown a second nose.
I wish I'd spent my money and retired at 33. Not stayed at home, but when enrolled, there's so much still to see. I watched too many box sets, had too many baths. What I should have done is ate more pies and sworn just for laughs. Cut no lips, apocalypse, but I've got an extra eye.
He's got an extra eye.
Problem is I've had to keep it shut, 'cause it's in my inner thigh.
Bye, oh my.
So I better get used to a life of mutant hell. Gangs of toxic bandits hold up in some Taco Bell. But I guess it's not all bad. I'll tell you what would be cool: an end to all reality shows and some free-boobed women like Total Recall. I'm not equipped, apocalypse, but there's nothing I can do.
There's not much we can do.
Have to wear a vest and my hair's a mess, and I'm dying for a poo.
He's dying for a poo.
Read my lips, apocalypse. We should have seen it coming.
Should have seen it coming.
We made such a mess, now we pay the debt, 'cause that's the way it goes.
He's missing all his favorite shows.
I liked it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lovely sentimental.
It was really upbeat, wasn't it?
It wasn't as terrible as all that. It was.
Yeah, it was
I tried
good.
to make it a little bit funny as well. So anyway, that's my entry for this week's podcast song.
I
hope
think
you
you've
like-
won it then.
I've won it. Great, fantastic. And we move on to the next section.
All right. And what is the next section? Well, let's find out via a sting.
Game time.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Oh, right,
It's
yeah.
the same thing that happens
it's the
every
same
week.
as that happens every single week.
Apart from the
What?
weeks that we didn't do it.
Didn't do. Well, there was a few that we didn't do it, didn't
Like
we?
musicals.
Did we
It's a
do
good
it? Did we
episode
do
if
it?
you want to listen to that.
Right, okay. So I thought what we'd test you out on is your ability to, your reaction, the way you fast thinking in a
sentence for
in
you.
a difficult. I don't know what's going on. I know I'm
You're
not very well.
fast thinking
I'm
in
really
a
struggling to
sentence.
say anything.
Are you not well?
No, I'm not well. No.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to challenge you to see how you react in a pressure situation. Right?
Mhm.
Okay. So I've got a sting for this. So give it a go.
That's not like you to have a sting. I'll hit
It's
play
always
then.
like me to have a sting.
All right.
What you gonna do? I'm gonna survive. You.
You love making stings, don't you?
I do love making stings. I love
Yeah.
doing all that stuff.
Yeah. It's I'm surprised we haven't got stings for everything that just goes on right. Making breakfast.
We're making breakfast. No, look, I'll tell you what, if I could live my life through stings,
Lunchtime.
yeah, I'd do it. It'd be much better. But no, I enjoy that side of it. I know it's not much good half the time, but I just enjoy it anyway.
You know what I say
Anyway.
after every sting?
Yeah,
It's
I
very
know.
good sting.
I know, but you say lots of things after everything. Right, I've got 7 questions for you.
7?
Yeah, 7.
Oh,
I know, it's
interesting
weird, isn't
number.
it? It's an interesting
That's
number, but I
how
run out of
rate
ideas.
things. I rate things out of 7 anyway.
You do. That's why I did it. Right.
No,
Okay.
no, you didn't
So
do
I'm
it for
going to
that
give you
reason.
some options. I'm going to give you a scenario,
Oh.
and then I'm going to give you 3 options.
It's like a
multiple
story.
choice, and I want you to choose what is the right course to take.
Right.
Right. Number 1, and I'll build up a bit of tension with these. The siren has sounded. You have approximately 4 minutes to get to safety. Do you A. Jump in your car and get away from built-up areas? B. Put a crash helmet on.
Is this nuclear?
Yeah.
All right.
Jump in your car and get away from the built-up areas. B. Did I say 1? Or no, I'm going to go back. A. Jump in your car and get away from built-up areas. B. Put a crash helmet and shin pads on, as most injuries are a result of falling debris. Good use of the word debris there. I've done it right. Or C. Make your way to the middle of your house or basement away from the windows.
4-minute warning.
Yep.
I would say make your way to the base of your house away from any doors and windows, because you're not going to have enough time to get away from built-up areas. It depends what it's hitting you, because if you go somewhere that's away from built-up areas, you're then away from all resources anyway.
Very good point. Now, I would say that comes from the actual advice they give to you to what to do, which I've read through, which is quite sobering, is to make your way to the middle of your house or your basement and away from anything, so don't, if you've got a load of knives hanging up in your kitchen, don't go out into your kitchen.
It just means, like, if a wall falls down, it's less likely to hit you if you're in the middle.
No, absolutely. So you got that one right. Well done.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so we're going to move on to number 2. You are shopping for food in preparation ahead of a nuclear attack. Right, so somehow you've got a little
we know
bit of,
we've got like a week's warning. In a week's time, you're going to get hit by a
What
bomb.
do you need to buy? What do you buy? Is it A, fruit and veg you need to keep healthy? B, tin food that has a long expiry date on it and water? C, pot noodles because your taste buds will be buggered so it won't melt?
Well, part of me wants to go with C,
Yeah,
but it's B,
it's B. Why wouldn't it be A, Connor?
because they're going to go off very quickly.
That's
and also,
exactly right.
And also, if it's nuclear, they
Yeah.
stand quite a good chance of being impacted by any kind of radiation poisoning.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So we could
Okay.
end up having like a cucumber that turns into an animal,
Yeah.
like a Tamagotchi.
God, back to them again. Okay, number 3, Connor. You've done well so far. I'll stick around with you if there's an emergency. But what about this one? You wake up. The skies are filled with alien spacecraft. What do? Do you scatter some M&Ms around your back door? and not a euphemism, that is, scatter some M&Ms around your back door and wait for them to waddle towards you? Do you, B, walk within shouting distance of one of the ships and initiate contact through sounds and noises you have developed into what you believe is a rudimentary alien dialect? Or C, you watch too much sci-fi, you need to get a life?
So, sorry, with this, I take it that this isn't genuine advice. Some of these you might have made up.
Well, that's for you to decide. But what I'm saying is, what option really is the option out of those three?
A and B aren't going to do anything. So
Yeah.
C.
Get a life. It's not going to happen. Number 4. NASA announced there is an asteroid the size of King Kong's first dump of the day, hurtling towards Earth. What do you do? A, leave it to NASA. They're trained for this. They've had things in place for this eventuality. B, enter a competition to have the asteroid named after you. C, do nothing. It will have little impact unless it lands directly on you. Going back to the meteorite.
I mean, isn't A and C pretty much the exact same thing?
Well, kind of, but, you know, one's actually, yeah, and
Leave
the
it.
other one's...
One one's just ignore everything.
It. One's ignore it,
and the other one's just assume that NASA's going to deal with it.
Yeah,
So one, you kind of know that NASA's going to deal with it.
because I've already talked about that, haven't I?
Yeah.
Oh, I shot myself in the foot.
A
now.
and C is pretty much the same. It's A.
It is A. It
Yeah.
is, because they have got something in place to get rid of it.
I wouldn't want an asteroid that's
A
about
giant
potentially going to destroy
laser.
Earth named after me either.
No, I can see
And it
that
wouldn't be named that
quite-
for long, would it?
Uh,
If all of Earth gets wiped out, no one's going to
that's
remember
true.
it was
no
called
one's gonna
Connor.
remember it anyway, so what's the point of that?
Yeah.
Number 5. You'll be pleased to know we're nearly through these. Zombies are taking over planet Earth, and you have to choose one of the following weapons / items. But which one?
Slash items like knives.
Well, okay. So. A, garlic pants. B, flamethrower. Or C, a foam cricket bat.
I'm going to go for B, a flamethrower.
And you'd be correct, because I've been looking into how you kill zombies, and one of the best things to do is to incinerate them.
Well, yeah, because then they're just ash, and
Because
even if they were still alive, they can't
their
do
brain's
much.
only working in the capacity of being driven by someone else, a bit like, you know, we talked about parasite. So basically, you destroy them, and you destroy what little, because they haven't got speech, and they've just got a little bit of movement and nothing else, you know. So anyway, well done. You'd
Depends if
screaming
they've
for
got a
these.
jaw, if they've got speech and stuff.
That's fair. No, they haven't got speech. They don't speak, apparently.
Well, I don't know.
No, apparently they don't.
All right.
What is
A bit like
oh,
feeding Bigfoot a Kit Kat.
No, 6. What is a super volcano?
I'm going
Is
to make a
it-
T-shirt out of that, I think. Feeding Bigfoot a Kit Kat.
You should do, yeah. Is it A, a volcano that can erupt over a 1,000-kilometre area?
What's this? Sorry, I wasn't listening to the first bit. I was distracted by
What
Kit
is a
Kats.
super volcano?
Right.
Is it a volcano that can erupt over 1,000 kilometres, a kilometre area? Is it a really great volcano? Or is it a Marvel superhero?
Right. Let's go for A then.
Do you see? There is a pattern with these, isn't it? As it
Yeah.
gets towards the end of me writing these, I get a little bit can't be bothered.
The first one. Read the first one again and read the 3 options.
A volcano that can erupt.
No, as in, no, the first question.
What? Oh, the siren has sounded. You have approximately 4 minutes to get to safety. Do you?
Yeah.
And then
It was go to
what
away
is a
from,
super volcano?
Yeah, well, the thing is, the options for that one were go in the middle of your house, travel far away from civilization, or something else, which are
Oh
which were
yeah, and I see
reasonable-
what
reasonable
since number
options.
5 we've had things like garlic pants, foam cricket bat, a really great volcano. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Perhaps you should do these. This is what should happen. Right,
Number 7.
number 7 and the last one. Don't know how we're doing for
It's going to
time.
be like something like slap someone with a fish.
No, I think this is quite a good one.
All right.
Number 7, robots have finally turned and are taking over the world. What do you do, Connor? What do you do? Do you A? Don't start me laughing because I have a coughing fit. Do you A? Make a costume out of cardboard boxes and assimilate yourself into their community?
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that'd work. Do you B? Because I was going to use that same one with zombies as well. Because if you go, stagger about a bit, presumably in the films I've watched, they don't take any notice of you. Anyway, back to robots. Do they make a costume out of cardboard boxes? B, go down to the shed. The Wi-Fi doesn't work down there and you should be safe. Or C, find the power source and turn it on and off again, restoring everything to its factory settings.
Well, turn it on and off again. It assumes it's already off.
Oh yeah, so I see what you're saying there. So I'll read that again. Find the power source and turn it off and on again, restoring everything to its factory settings.
It does depend, because not everything always restores it to factory settings, but I'm going to go based on a little bit of sci-fi here and the fact that I feel like they've moved beyond Wi-Fi and things do work outside of Wi-Fi a lot of the time.
No, don't in this house.
Just means they can't go, well, I'm going to go for C, turn it off and on again.
And you have absolutely aced this, which tells me a lot about the questions.
Although I think the box
and
idea was a
answers-
good one.
The answers that I've given there. You've got 7
Unless they
out of
look
7.
like the ones from iRobot.
iRobot. Yeah, but they might still be confused.
Yeah, they
'Cause
might
if
think you're a vending machine.
Yeah. If you use, because they...
Like Red Dwarf.
I mean, I'm not talking about leaving, like, Amazon on the boxes and things like that. You're going to have to colour it in and things. Put, like, a little...
But if you write 5,000 under the word Amazon, it'll be fine. Or Echo.
What, they'll think it's something from the
If you
future.
write Echo underneath it.
Yeah. No, you could be right there. Yeah. Okay.
Echo Bot.
Yeah. All careful. We don't want to start...
Amazon Echo Bot. That's their new thing.
No,
She
she's
doesn't-
not
she
even
doesn't
bothering.
answer
She
to
can't
that.
even be bothered now.
She answers to the name.
She's off doing something terrible in the world.
She answers
Right.
to the name, you know?
Okay. 7 out of 7, Connor.
Well, I think that's the first time I've ever got 100%
You've
on
aced
these.
it. You've absolutely aced it.
Thanks.
Okay. There you go then. That's my little quiz.
Does that mean we
about
finished the
apocalypse.
podcast, like all of our podcasts ever? Because I've actually finally got done well enough.
Yeah, it was all leading up to you actually doing this. And,
Yeah,
you know,
we're
if we do
stopping
any
at
more
39.
podcasts like this, it might be the end of them anyway.
We're
but,
stopping at 39 just before 40.
Yep,
That's it.
absolutely.
You know what? I feel like as a special thing, we might continue on a little bit further.
Well, we are continuing on because I can tell you a little secret.
Go on, what's the secret?
Episode 40, it's a particular favourite of mine. It's all about vampires.
Is it because it's going to be falling on Halloween?
It is because it can, and we'll talk about Halloween in the next one because we both have got quite strong feelings about Halloween.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, vampires. Next one
Vampires.
is all about vampires.
Sorry, in a Dracula voice?
No, that was sounding like. Hang on, I did master the.
You just did.
I know. I don't know what. Dracula.
I want to drink your blood.
To drink your blood. That wouldn't be frightening at all, would it?
No, it wouldn't. Anyway,
Yes.
Apocalypse.
Yes.
And moving. That was a really good game, actually.
Did
Quiz
you
there.
like that?
I really like that one.
I have actually read a number of not manuals because that would have took me an age, but I suppose pamphlet size sort of things about actually seriously what you should do in those things. And it is, you know,
Yeah.
some of it is pretty much common sense. Some of it's most of it's completely out of your control. But you know,
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
And-
Live your day to day. Don't worry about all this stuff going on. If you can't control it, why worry about it?
Yeah.
Don't worry or worry.
And
In a worry.
Don't worry,
As my
worry.
old mum
if-
used to say.
Unless it worry. Or you worry.
Yeah.
Before you
Which
worry.
basically means don't bother worrying about something twice.
Yeah.
You're going to worry about it on next Thursday. Worry about it next Thursday. Don't worry about it now because you've got.
I
next
tell that to
Thursday.
people. Since you tell it to me, I tell that to people that I come across. I go,
No,
don't
very-
worry about it now.
Try not to worry about anything.
I
If
mean,
I'm honest,
I still
but
worry about it. But
don't worry about it twice. Anyway, moving on.
So I feel like we've discussed apocalypses
We have.
in this episode, and we've picked them apart, and we've kind of determined that
Don't
a
worry
lot of them
about
are
it.
still plausible.
Yeah,
but we've really picked them apart. I think there's something else that we do need to pick apart though, because I've received an email.
Oh, what?
And so I've received an email from Sam.
He's starting to stalk us, isn't he? This is.
Yeah, I think so.
I might have to report him. God.
Of all these people listening to the podcast.
Yes, all the many. Go on. What does he say then?
The subject, episode 38, and the message is, this is in brackets, 0:49 seconds in, and then close brackets, so it's 49 seconds in. And then he says, 49-49 undefeated, 49-49 I say, 49-49 undefeated, playing football the Arsenal way. Good luck making it to 49 episodes.
Right.
Do I assume that we said about episode 49 in the 49th second? I don't have a clue what he's on about.
No, that sort of has escaped me somewhat.
And it's
as
a shame
well.
he had to mention Arsenal.
Well, it's a song, 49-49 undefeated, that by Arsenal fans sing
Yeah.
about when they were undefeated for 49 because it's a clever song like that. It's a song they used to sing, and they probably sing sort of to recollect and sort of reminisce about the olden days. But yes, why he would bring it up, I do not know. I might have to challenge him on that one. In fact, I will challenge him on that one. Sam, I don't understand.
You're going to
I don't
challenge him to a duel.
understand why you've brought this up, and I'm pleased for you that happened in the past.
Was it
right?
was it because we were saying that episode 49 will be 2021 in review?
I don't think we went that far in talking about it.
I think we spoke about we'll do a Christmas and a 2021 one.
Well, we may have. I don't know that we discussed it on this.
Alright.
I don't know.
Well, exclusive if we haven't already, unless it's not an exclusive. Episode 48
Yep,
will be about Christmas,
it will.
and episode 49 will be about 2021 in review.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, it falls around Christmas and New
New
Year.
Year, which is why we've done it. We're very clever like that. That's why
We are.
we've got a Halloween special for next week. Yes,
Yep.
okay. Well, look,
And another special after that.
Sam,
Bet you can't guess what that one is.
thank you for your correspondence. Thank you very much. I do not understand. Perhaps you could explain it to me. And that will be great. If you could come back and tell me, that would be fantastic.
Because what made me just confused by it is the fact that it says 49 seconds in and then did a chant. I feel like I might have to listen to 49 seconds in.
Yeah, we might have to listen to 49 seconds in and see if there was something that was said at that point that has set him off on this.
Should we take a quick pause and listen to 49 seconds in?
Yeah.
All right, we're back. Hello again.
So we just listened to that back, haven't
We've
we?
just reviewed it.
Right, so we said that getting nearer and nearer to 50 and saying, well, we might not make it, we might just stop at 49, which obviously sparked some off in his brain, as it must do with all Arsenal fans, and he started off on his little charm.
Yeah.
So that explains it at least.
Yeah, but you know what exactly what time you said the number 49?
What?
1 minute and 2 seconds in. So it was all a
So that's
lie
a
anyway.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, Sam.
I'm saying
I'm going
if
to write a
you could-
complaint to you.
Right, yeah, and if you're going to do that again, at least get it on the right time. Thank you. Okay, that's it for us then this week. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's been a lovely episode.
It's been a lovely
We
episode.
love
It's
you,
been a
Sam.
little bit intense. It obviously tailed off towards the end, and then there was that ridiculous thing with Sam. But then I think this is going to happen throughout these.
Ludicrous.
Ludicrous. So all I've got to, I mean, you obviously want to run through. Obviously, Sam wrote into us, so if people want to write into us, please do. Even if what you write in is something we don't understand, we can still have a conversation about it, can't we?
You know, I'm going to clarify something.
Yes.
If someone wants to write something into us on
Yeah.
the fatherandsundays.com website,
Yeah.
fatherandsundays.com, if you want to go on there and go to the contact page, you can write a question, suggestion, comment, complaint. You can write anything like that. will say though, if you want to write something to us and you don't want us to read it out, you do just need to let us know, and we just won't read it out, but we will still read it and take it on board.
Right. What's the point in that, though?
I'm just saying, because something I've realised is there'll be, in some circumstances, if someone said to you, if you send me a message, I'll read it out so everyone else can hear it, you'd then not want to send a message. Like if every time you sent a text to someone, they then read it out to everyone else who was in the room.
Yeah, but this is totally different. When I send a text to you, I don't expect that then, well... No, actually, probably that might be the case, but we know we have that
but
sort of
someone
thing.
might not want to say something to us just because they think we might read it out.
All right.
I'm just saying, if you put nothing in the message, say you don't want us to read it out, then we probably will.
Okay.
However, if you put something saying, can you not read this out?
Keep us anonymous. That would be the best point to put across there, is that you don't want your name read out.
Yeah, or just say you don't want your name read out.
Yeah.
And I'll read it beforehand, and then...
Yeah, you normally read them, don't you?
I read them before and then read them out to you. But I just wanted to clarify that you can do that. However, if you want to write a message that we can discuss, we love doing those as well.
Yes.
We actually do enjoy them.
Yeah.
So feel free to do that. But the website is a great place because you've also got all the episodes on there. You can also look at the What's New section, which is
not very new.
Very new at the moment. We've got the About page, the contact page, like I mentioned. We've also got the store, which is a great place to help keep this podcast going, to help keep us support it, just from small things like that. But yeah, it's helpful and it shows you support and whatever. But we've also got all the social media platforms available.
All the ones you're
well,
familiar
I say
with.
all the platforms: Facebook,
Most
Instagram, Twitter. Follow us, like us on those, comment on the posts. Like the posts.
Yeah.
Look at the posts.
Yeah, we usually put a little
to
thing
be
about
fair,
them.
Dad normally writes something quite funny on his posts, so if you want a little bit of an extra laugh.
Facebook, we usually put something out on the Sunday to coincide with the release of that particular podcast, and then on the, I'd like to say Wednesday, Thursday.
Midweek.
Yeah, midweek, we usually put out a little reminder with a picture that relates to that particular podcast, which is going to be a bit of a tricky one.
Well,
this
so
time.
actually, particularly, if you listened to the body episode last week and we were speaking about that weird drawing that Dad said he was going to post on the
then that
website.
weird drawing is
not quite on the website yet,
yeah.
but it is on our Instagram and our Twitter and our Facebook. So go on those, all of those Father and Son days, or Father Son, or something Father Days, whatever. It's Father Son days, stuff like that. Anyway, go on all of those. Our podcast is available on many different platforms. You can listen to all of those, leave reviews on certain ones of those as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, I guess I'll say good. I was going to do a vampire impression again. I'm not. I'm going to leave it till next week.
Save it for
I'll
next
say it
week.
next week. I've done it. I've already done a couple of bits on it. So yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
be excited to hear your vampire impression next week.
It's awesome. You'll be shaking in your boots. Okay. See you next week.
Save it.
I'll save it next week. See you next week.
All right. Bye then. Bye.